Hello everybody, I'm back with some more Mystic NPE. A third dimension was just popped in Nexus, so I figured I'd hop in here, see what we could get. And yeah, gonna see if we can get some ups today. Last time we got this tier 12 robe. Still have quite a few more decks to get during this event, so that'll be good. Can get some extra random potions and such from the chest. I thought I was a lot closer to maxing that, but I guess I was mistaken. That's okay. I don't mind running some sprites during a sprite event. It's not the most painful thing. Though I should probably not be in here. And I know we said we were going to check our egos. But really, who dies in the third dimension? Except for all those times I've died in the third dimension. Right, I have to keep in mind that I'm not using a pet, so I do have to dodge as much as possible. Though it seems like we've got some priests and whatnot in here. It's a bit of a crowd. And I do have a snake eye ring, which I'm going to use right now. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, curse is fine. Got a defense, that's good. Very nice. 21 more of those and I'll be maxed. Hopefully we'll find a T room in here as well. Though if I get the ST, I'm certainly not going to be using it because I need it. It'll finish the cuboid set for me. But other than that, if I get the staff, I'll definitely use that. I don't actually know which boss the staff drops from. I know one is the first boss, one is the second. The staff and the skull, that is. And yeah, this shouldn't be too tough. I think we can go through the second boss with fairly low damage. Kind of want to look around for the T room, but I'll just stay with the group for now. Alright, here's the boss. Yeah, I guess I'll stick with the people. That makes more sense. I want to be on the other side so we can quick clear everything, but working together. Having healers on me is probably more valuable at this point. Guess I probably want to switch to this so I can just follow them with my cursor. During this phase, back to the spell blade. I think spell blades and flails were great additions. Especially the spell blade, because the flail is just basically generally better than the sword. But the spell blade is like a perfect swap out. I think it's a little strange that the flail has both more range and more damage than a sword. Though I might be misunderstanding some nuance about it, but in my experience thus far, it's just better. Back to the spell blade here. Get to push damage on these little guys. And okay. I've gotten separated from the crew. Oh my, oh my. Ooh, that's a little close. Didn't love that. Oh, rip. Oh wow, that was like a 6 out of 8. Or 7. I didn't really see the grave. Oof. 100 damage and slowed isn't ideal, but that's okay. If you have a fungal priest, I can leech some health from. And are we going to the last phase now? Yep. It's gonna move around, but it should be pretty easy. Wow, that was a quick kill. Ooh, fancy cloth. Alright though. Let's move on out of that. Ooh, what's this? High-tech terror. That's kind of tempting. Nest, oh god. Being in a popping server tempts me into dangerous activities. I just want to max out on dexterity at some point. So I'll probably do a fast forward of all this sprite grinding. And we'll see what we can get done before I have to work today. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick aside to get an attack from here. And I don't think I've done one of these on stream, so I'll mention that the tea rooms are hidden behind these walls. They contain 2 coffins that spawn a bunch of random enemies when they're at about half health. And the most important thing you can get here are the holy waters, which clear negative status conditions, which is super, super nice, especially with things like sicken and paralyze. And I think these, I believe the dogs and the big guys in here can drop STs, though the ST from the tea room is the only one I still need for the set, to finish the set. There's also a bone dagger, but I don't think that really matters. It's not particularly good. I think it's equivalent of like, I want to say a tier 8 or 9, but I could be wrong. Oof. And I could also get a crappy robe from here. There's a crappy robe and a crappy wand, though it is like the longest ranged wand in the game. Or I could get like nothing. That's also an option. Oh, that was worthwhile. Alright, so while that plays in the background, I thought I would come and talk to you about the drops from Sprite. The drops of note, at least. The white bag of highest value here is the Cloak of the Planeswalker. It is a rogue ability item. It gives +4 speed, +4 dex, and it makes you invisible for 5.5 seconds with a cost of 100 NP. Now, what makes it really good is that it teleports you to your cursor location. So this basically turns the rogue into a trickster. Kinda. A little bit of a mix of both. It doesn't have a decoy, obviously, but that teleport can be incredibly powerful. It is one of the best rushing items in the game by far. I pretty frequently use it for rushing lost halls. You can use it a lot of places. It's very, very nice. And unlike the Kensai dash ability, you are invulnerable to environmental hazards while you're using that, while you're teleporting with it, like a Trickster. So it definitely has its upsides. Aside from that, it's got a kind of a long cooldown at 6.5 seconds, so there's a second of downtime in between you have to be aware of. So you just have to dodge a little bit while it cools down. So that's the main get from farming Sprite worlds. Aside from that, there's the Staff of Extreme Prejudice, which is, it's actually really good because it has 600 feed power. And that's about it as far as your average player is concerned. I know people use it for quick killing like Oryx 3, and I'm sure there are some other like really niche uses for it, but it's basically a staff that shoots out in 10 directions, very short range, and decent damage projectiles, but in a circle around you, so it is incredibly difficult to use for any normal gameplay. Basically, you're just using it on vulnerable enemies that don't attack. I guess you can use it in the boss of Lab as well, the Mad Lab, because that boss doesn't actually have projectiles, but more or less this is a 600 feed power item, and that's about it. And after that, there's the Mace of the Celestial Forest, which might be good. I haven't actually gotten to play with it very much. I've found other maces are just generally more damage, but this has it has stationary summons. It's a summoner ability item. It has stationary summons, which is unique amongst maces, and they also have a range of 10, which is quite far in addition to being able to walk away from them once they're spawned. So it might have its uses. It might be worthwhile to hold on to one of these, but if you find yourself grinding sprites to get max dexterity on your characters, you will see plenty of these. It also has 700 feed power, which is what I mostly use this for. I do have one kicking around somewhere. Maybe I'll try it out and report back, but I can't sell you on this one yet. And the last drop of note is the Q-Band. It is the ST for the Cuboid Necromancer set. It's a ring. It gives 80 HP and 5 dexterity, so it's kind of a whatever health ring. It's okay based on stats, but on shoot it restores 100 health while you're in combat. So after you get hit with a shot strong enough to proc your in combat phase, you'll gain 100 health, which is very nice. It has a cooldown of 20 seconds, but I love this for petless play. That 100 health makes such a difference, even though it's every 20 seconds. That 100 health on top of like just decent stats, because if you're using a bigger health ring like a plus 120 health, that's great. But if you have no pet, if you're playing an NPE or something, the extra health just goes away, and you don't like recharge it real quick with a pet like you normally would if you're a later game player. Normally you'd be expecting to like refill that health pretty fast, or if you're playing in a group with priests. So if you're doing solo play, if you're playing an NPE, I highly recommend using this item. So aside from all that, those are really what you're looking for. You've got your Potion of Dexterity, the obvious drop, which is why you grind Dex World in the Sprite World in the first place. You can get your random Potion of Defense, Occasionally you'll get a wine cellar incantation, which is a nice 500 feed. Sprite wands are useless unless you're sitting on like a tier 3 wand or something. Tier 5 abilities are nice. And then the last thing is the Sprite Star Pet Skin. And that's just a cute little, like, little star pet skin. And yeah, it's definitely not something I'd complain about getting. I've never seen one myself, having ground hundreds and hundreds of lemons into dust. And I think the very last thing you can get from here would be the Celestial Forest blueprint, but that's just a blueprint for the forage. If you're into that, then I guess you can craft the Mace of the Celestial Forest now, but I'm not too terribly interested in that. And I think one last thing to mention would be, I guess 2 things. The bigger sprites inside the sprite world, like the biggest enemy aside from the boss, the ones with 2 phases that transform after they hit half health, can drop attack potions, and so I highly recommend killing them whenever you see them, if you're looking to stock up on attacks or rainbows in general. And then there's an Easter egg where you can find Craig in here, and he will open, what is it, a Lair of Draconis, but the old, like, unfinished version, and it's just kind of neat. I believe it drops the cheater armors, so nothing really useful, but it's kind of cool. So yeah, those are all of the drops of note, and I've never seen that Craig myself. I've never seen that Easter egg myself, but I'd like to find it one day, and I grind plenty of sprites, so you'd think maybe, perhaps someday I could find it. I'm actually gonna see if I can find this this weird Lair of Draconis real quick. Okay, so apparently it only drops normal potions, rainbows, everything except for mana and life out of little loot balloons. But I'd really like to find it someday, just because it's a neat little achievement unlock type thing. And yeah, this should just about conclude the video, so it's been a pleasure. Alright, thank you for sticking around if you stuck around. And yeah, I'm gonna crack open some eggs. And next time it should be a little more adventuring and a little less grinding of one dungeon. I'll be able to move around a bit more than this time. But yeah, that wasn't too bad. Got a dreidel. Got a bird. I'm sure one of these will be perfect, right? Right? Oh, at least I got heal on this one. Eh. Ah well. It's kind of tempting to raise that up a little bit. And maybe I will, but we will see, we will see. Alright, it's been an absolute pleasure as always, and have a good one.